Hello, James, dietitian. You can call me Jim from Australia. I want to talk about what happened to me in 2022. What a year. Well, I was living on the streets because I was pretty upset about the relationship that was ended. 8-year relationship. Said just get over it. Well, I had to, and I was drinking and smoking, so I threw everything I knew to the wind. Why did I do that? I just had enough. And my brother had died a few years before. So, what made me bounce back? Well, my mate took me to a hospital with a diabetic ulcer because when you're drinking port, guess what happens when diabetes? Doesn't have to be 2 or 1, either one. Your blood sugar gets up around 45 or 50 millimoles per litre of blood. So they were quite upset about me. Well, so was my mate. He took me to hospital, and Dr. Wade Harvey came down from Brisbane. 4 hours he worked on my foot to dig the diabetic ulcer out. And then he said, famously, mark these words, you'll probably reject the antibiotic in a month or 2 and you'll die in hospital. They'll try and revive you with like antibiotics by intravenous drip. And I said, why can't you just use a cocktail of antibiotics or a different antibiotic? Well, obviously, some of these antibiotics are really expensive and they're not fully funded by the federal health government. So, the doctor says I'm going to die. So I started praying to the Lord, praying to God that I wouldn't die. Now that's over no, it's not, is it? Yeah, it's practically 2 years ago when you talk about August this year. Now he worked for 4 hours to dig that diabetic ulcer out and it was black tissue. It was disgusting. He went to the bone to get that rotten tissue out, which wasn't receiving blood supply. But the rest of my foot was, and he kind of ignored that. Okay, he rubbed his hands together. Dr. Wade Harvey said, we're going to cut your foot off. I said, oh, quaint. How do you cut my foot off? Well, we saw through the 2 bones of the leg. You go along to hardware and get a saw. And I said, no, you're bloody not. And in his anger, because he wanted to get the $25,000 from cutting my foot off, he referred me to a parapsychologist, Stephen, that was asking me all sorts of questions to try and probe my adult responsibility to care for myself. And they came to the conclusion that I couldn't care for myself. They put me under the public guardian, and they were rubbing their hands together, the guardian, because I had 10,000 saved. It's diminished now. What the guardian does is take your money. Anyway, that's the foot that had a wound in it as big as a golf ball, and that's it now. See that? That's all it is. And that was measured by a registered nurse last week as 8 millimetres by, trying to remember what the other dimension was. Well, probably 6 by 8, it's like a triangle. So I'm sorry, Dr. Wade Harvey, but you're not as powerful as God. God granted me out of this situation. Oh boy, and what an unholy mess it was. Amen. Thank you.